to determine the 3 areas that you need for you to work on your bikini bottom. The first area or the first reference point is going to be the umbilical cord, and the second part is going to be the top of your groin area, and then the bottom of your groin area. So the umbilical cord usually is the center part of your body. The top part of the groin is where the area across the last part of your hip bone. So where your hip bone ends, that is where your groin area begins, the center part of it. Okay, so if you get on your hip bone, you go across, so the center point, this is the beginning of your groin area. And then the bottom area, which is the bottom of the groin or the crotch, this is where the 2 thighs meets the rest of the body. So that's the bottom of that's the crotch area. And then the distance from the umbilical, or maybe from the top here to the crotch area, usually it's called the rise. So to me, I divided into 3 other portions, so to make the work easier for us to go ahead and do our bikini tops. So for you to make the bikini top, first of all, you have to determine where your waist is going to start. In most cases, some people want their bikini tops to be full coverage, which goes all the way to the top of the umbilical cord right here. Or some people want it a little bit below the waistline, and some more wants it at just slightly below that area. You can always determine whatever you want your bikini bottom to start, or you can always start it down here. So it all depends with an individual. So once you determine these areas where you want your bikini bottom to start, that will mark as your circumference. So your circumference can be up here, it can be up here, it can be up here, it can be here, or at the bottom here. So once you determine the circumference, you are going to go ahead and do the measurements of that area. Once you do the measurements of that area, then that will be where you are going to use the chain stitch. So once you do the circumference of this area, and circumference around here, or this one, or here, so these areas will be the ones you are going to use to make a chain. Okay, so next, what you do after you determine your midpoint, you are going to go ahead, take your measurements of your project or on your body. Go ahead and take the waist circumference, and as we said, this can be anywhere below the waist, so that will be your circumference. So you go ahead and measure it, and that is about 29 inches, which is about 73.66 centimeters. So, and then next you're going to go ahead and you measure the distance from where you want your waist to be. In this case, I'm not going to include the contrast color. So you go ahead and measure the distance from the waist, where you want your waist to start, to the top of the groin, which is 3.5 inches. Once you determine that, you are going to go ahead again and measure from the top of the groin to the bottom of the crotch area, as in such. So in this case, it's like 0.75. Once you do that, what you're going to do, you're going to add the two together. Once you do the add together, you're going to get the rise, and the rise is going to be about 9 inches or 9.25 inches, somewhere like that. So that's the total rise. Okay, so once you get that, you're going to go ahead, you work from here to here, then from here to here, you're going to do the increase. So once we get the crotch depth, it's going to help us determine the thigh circumference, okay? So that's how we determine the thighs. Let's say if you have a little bit bigger thigh, so you can always increase the crotch area. See, if your thigh is a little bit wider than this, your crotch area distance increases. So I hope that is a little bit clear, and that's what I needed to show you. For this particular project, I do not use the traditional method of chaining. I usually use the foundation because the foundation row gives me an opportunity to make my work a little bit stretchable. But if you use the chain, it's a little bit rigid. So it's kind of rigid, but this one, it gives me the flexibility of stretching. So that's all I needed to show you for now. So until next time, you guys have a good day, good night, wherever you are in the world.